I walked through the front door that Tuesday evening, loosening my tie after another long day debugging code at the office. The smell of garlic and rosemary hit me immediately. Stephanie was in the kitchen stirring something on the stove, her back to me. Everything looked normal, felt normal. But when she turned around, there was something in her eyes I had not seen before, something that made my stomach drop before she even opened her mouth. She set down the wooden spoon and said, "We need to talk about us." Her voice carried a weight that filled the room. I felt my pulse quicken. I had no idea that conversation would flip my entire world upside down within 3 months. Before I tell you how my marriage collapsed and rebuilt my life in ways I never expected, I want to know, where are you watching this from? Drop your location in the comments. If this story hits home, hit that like button and subscribe. Trust me, you will want to hear how a simple yes to someone else's selfishness became the best decision I never planned to make. Now let me take you back to that evening. After dinner, we sat on the sofa in our living room. The television was off. The silence felt heavy, oppressive. Stephanie twisted her wedding ring around her finger, a nervous habit I had noticed more frequently in recent weeks. She finally spoke. "I have been thinking. Our marriage feels stale. We are like roommates, not lovers." I blinked, caught off guard. "What do you mean? I thought we were doing fine." She shook her head slowly. "Roy, when was the last time you felt passion? Real excitement I cannot even remember." I tried to understand, leaning forward. "Okay, so what do you want to do? We could try couples therapy, maybe plan more date nights, take a vacation. Just tell me what you need." "I need something more radical." The way she said it made my skin prickle. I waited. "I want us to try an open marriage." The words hung in the air like smoke. I could not speak for several seconds. My brain struggled to process what I had just heard. "Are you serious?" "Completely serious." She looked at me with an intensity that felt almost manic. "I have been reading about open marriages. Couples who do it right say it brings them closer. It lets them explore other connections, experience real passion with real men again." Real men. The phrase landed like a punch to my chest. Real men. As if I were not one, as if 7 years of marriage, of being faithful, of building a life together, meant I was somehow insufficient. "So I am not enough for you." My voice came out quieter than I intended. "It is not about you being enough. It is about growth, about not letting ourselves become boring and dead inside." But it was about me not being enough. I could hear it in every word. The next few days blurred together. I barely slept. At work, I stared at lines of code without seeing them. My coworker Jake noticed during lunch on Thursday. "Man, you look terrible. Everything okay?" I hesitated, then told him. Jake had been divorced for 2 years. If anyone would understand, it would be him. He set down his sandwich and looked at me hard. "Roy, this never ends well. I have seen it a dozen times. She already has someone in mind." "No," I protested. "Stephanie would not do that. She is just confused." But even as I said it, I was not sure I believed it, because there were signs I had been ignoring. Stephanie had suddenly joined a gym 3 weeks ago. She dressed differently now, wearing outfits that showed more skin that clung tighter. She spent hours on her phone tilting the screen away whenever I walked past. She came home late from what she called work drinks, smelling of cologne I did not recognize. I spent nights researching open marriages online. I read success stories and disaster stories. The disasters far outnumbered the successes. Every article warned about the same things: jealousy, unequal, desire, one partner already having someone lined up while the other scrambled to catch up. But I loved her. I loved Stephanie. And maybe, just maybe, if I gave her this, she would realize what we had was enough. A week after that first conversation, I sat down with her again. "Okay," I said, Let us try it, but we need rules." Her face lit up in a way I had not seen in months. She actually clapped her hands together. "Really, oh Roy, this is going to save us." "Rules," I repeated firmly. "No bringing anyone home. Always use protection. Be honest about who and when. Either person can call it off any time. And our marriage comes first. Always?" Of course, of course." She said it so quickly, so dismissively, barely listening. Her eyes were sparkling. "So when do you want to start?" That eagerness told me everything. She already had someone picked out. She had been waiting for my permission. "Whenever you are ready," I said. That night I watched my wife of 7 years practically skip to our bedroom. She was happier than I had seen her in months. And that is when I knew. She had already found her real man. The first week was a nightmare I had not prepared myself for. Tuesday night, just 2 days after I agreed, Stephanie announced she was meeting some friends for drinks. She wore a black dress I had never seen before, tight and short with heels that made her legs look endless. She kissed my cheek on the way out, leaving a lipstick mark I wiped off with the back of my hand. She came home at 2 in the morning. I was lying in bed pretending to be asleep, but I heard everything. The stumble of her heels on the hardwood, the way she hummed while brushing her teeth. When she slipped into bed beside me, I smelled perfume and sweat, and something else I could not name, but recognized anyway. Thursday she went out again. "Another girls' night," she said. Saturday she dressed in an outfit I definitely had not bought her and sprayed herself with perfume I definitely had not given her. By the second week I noticed a mark on her neck, a hickey, like we were teenagers again. When I asked about it, she snapped at me. "You agreed to this. Do not be insecure now." Insecure. As if my feelings did not matter. As if the agreement gave her carte blanche to disregard my humanity. The worst part was not even the nights she went out. It was the nights she stayed home. She stopped initiating any intimacy with me. When I tried, she pushed me away, gently but firmly. "I am tired." "Not tonight. Maybe this weekend." The weekend never came. I realized she was saving her energy for someone else, saving her desire for someone else. I had become a ghost in my own marriage. Finally, I could not take it anymore. "Steph, we agreed to be honest. Who is he?" She sighed like I was a child asking an annoying question. "His name is Brad. He is a personal trainer at my gym. He is exciting." "Exciting how?" "He is confident, built, knows what he wants. He is a real man." There it was again. Real man. I felt something inside me crack. "And I am not—" I did not say that. But she did not have to. Things escalated quickly after that. Stephanie started staying out overnight. She would text me casually, as if it were the most normal thing in the world. "Staying at Brad's tonight. Do not wait up." I sat alone in the house we had bought together, the house where we had planned to raise children, and ordered pizza for one. I ate it, watching a show. I did not care about feeling like a ghost haunting my own life. It was around this time that Lauren became more present in my daily routine. She had moved in next door 3 months earlier, and Stephanie and I had welcomed her with a casserole, like good neighbors do. Lauren was a fitness instructor, single, with long auburn hair and a warm smile that reached her eyes. She always seemed friendly, but never intrusive. One Saturday evening, I was mowing the lawn while Stephanie was out with Brad. Lauren came outside to check her mailbox and noticed me. "Hey, Roy, everything okay? You seem different lately." I tried to brush it off. "Just tired from work." She studied me for a moment. "I am a good listener if you ever need to talk. I am right next door." Something about the genuine concern in her voice made my throat tighten. "Thanks. I appreciate that." Over the next couple of weeks, I noticed we kept running into each other. Sunday morning, when I took out the trash, she was coming back from a jog. Wednesday evening at the mailbox, we chatted about the weather. It felt intentional on her part, but I told myself she was just being friendly. She brought over homemade cookies one afternoon. "Baked too many. Thought you might like some." "Dee, that is really kind of you. How is work going?" She asked it like she actually cared about the answer. When was the last time Stephanie had asked me about work? But everything came to a head on a Friday night in late September. Stephanie came home at 11, and I was sitting in the living room, unable to focus on the television. "Brad's coming over tomorrow afternoon," she announced casually. "I wanted to let you know." I looked up at her. "What you want to bring him here? That breaks our rules." "The house is half mine. You can leave for a few hours?" "Are you serious? This is our home." "You're being controlling." Her voice turned cold. "I thought you were different. I guess you're just like every other insecure man." Something in me snapped. I stood up. "Insecure, I have let you destroy our marriage. Destroy, I am finally alive again. Maybe if you were more like Brad, if you were more of a real man." "Enough!" I shouted. "I am done hearing about real men. I am a real man. I am just not your man anymore." She stepped back surprised. We had never yelled at each other like this. "Then maybe we should not be married," she said quietly. The words sat between us like broken glass. She grabbed her purse. "I am staying at Brad's tonight, and tomorrow I am bringing him here whether you like it or not." The door slammed behind her. I stood there in the sudden silence, feeling numb. I sat down on the couch and stared at the wall for hours. Somewhere around 3 in the morning, I realized the truth. The marriage was over. It had been over for months. I had just been too afraid to admit it. That night, sitting alone in the house that no longer felt like home, I realized I had not just lost my wife. I had lost myself trying to keep someone who was already gone. I woke up Saturday morning on the couch, my neck stiff and aching. Sunlight streamed through the windows. I checked my phone. One text from Stephanie sent at 8:30. "Brad's coming at 2. Be gone by then." I stared at that message for a long time. Something shifted in my chest, a clarity I had not felt in months. Why was I the one leaving? This was my house, too. I had paid the majority of the mortgage. I had mowed the lawn, fixed the leaking faucet, painted the guest room. This was my home. I was not leaving, not anymore. I called Jake. He answered on the second ring, his voice groggy. "Roy, it is 9 in the morning on a Saturday. I need a lawyer, a good one." There was a pause. Then, "Finally, I will text you someone. Best divorce attorney I know." I spent the next 2 hours documenting everything. Screenshots of Stephanie's texts about staying at Brad's, dates and times she went out, the rule about not bringing anyone to our home, which she was about to violate. I made notes about everything I could remember. My hands shook as I typed, but I felt more in control than I had in months. Around 10, I stepped outside to clear my head. The morning was crisp autumn leaves scattered across the lawn. Lauren was watering her plants on her front porch. She looked over and waved. "Rough night," she called. I walked over to the property line. "Rough few months, actually." She set down her watering can. "Want to grab coffee? You look like you need to talk." I hesitated. Then, "Actually, yeah, that would be nice." We drove separately to a local coffee shop downtown. It was small, cozy, with mismatched chairs and the smell of fresh espresso. We sat in a corner table by the window. I opened up in a way I had not with anyone except Jake. I did not mention the open marriage, specifically just said we were having serious marriage problems, that she was seeing someone else, that I felt invisible. Lauren listened without interrupting. When I finished, she reached across the table and touched my hand briefly. "I know what that feels like," she said. "To be made to feel not enough. My ex-husband cheated on me for a year before I found out, Divorced him last year. I am sorry. Do not be. Best thing that ever happened to me. She smiled. You know what I learned. Sometimes people do not appreciate what they have until it is gone. I am starting to realize that. You are a good guy, Roy. Anyone can see that. It was the first compliment I had received in what felt like forever, the first moment of genuine warmth. We talked for 2 hours about everything and nothing. She laughed at my jokes, touched my arm when making a point. I found myself noticing things, how her eyes crinkled when she smiled, how she listened instead of just waiting for her turn to talk. I checked my watch. 1:30. I should head back, I said reluctantly. This was nice. We should do it again. I would like that. I drove home, arriving at 1:50. I parked in my driveway and sat there for a moment, steeling myself. At 2:15, the doorbell rang. I opened it. Stephanie stood there with Brad beside her. He was tall, muscular, wearing a tight shirt that showed off his gym physique. He had a cocky smile that I immediately wanted to wipe off his face. Stephanie looked shocked. Roy, I told you to leave. This is my house. I am not going anywhere. She pulled me aside into the hallway, hissing. Are you trying to embarrass me? I am not leaving my own home so you can entertain your boyfriend. Brad, who had followed us, raised his eyebrows. Boyfriend Steph, I thought you said you were separated, Stephanie stammered. We are. We have an arrangement. An arrangement? Brad looked uncomfortable now. That is when the doorbell rang again. I opened it to find Lauren standing there holding a Tupperware container. Hey, I made extra lunch and thought you might... She stopped, seeing the scene. Oh, sorry, am I interrupting? Stephanie's eyes narrowed dangerously. Who is this? Our neighbor Lauren. Lauren, reading the tension in the room, stepped back. I will come back later. No, please stay, I said. I could use the company. Lauren hesitated, then stepped inside. I could feel Stephanie's rage building. Roy, can we talk alone? Whatever you need to say, you can say here. Stephanie turned to Lauren. I do not know what is happening here, but Roy is my husband. Lauren, to her credit, stayed calm. I know. He mentioned he is married, just being neighborly. Neighborly, coming over with food in the middle of the afternoon. I come over to lots of neighbors, Lauren said evenly. Roy just seems like he could use a friend right now. Unlike some people, I value good men when I see them. The dig was subtle but effective. Stephanie's face flushed. Brad shifted uncomfortably. Steph, maybe we should go. This is weird. No, this is our time, Roy agreed. Dude, Brad said, backing toward the door. I do not do drama. Call me when you figure your stuff out. He left, just walked out. Stephanie stood there, humiliated, watching him go. She whirled on me. This is your fault. You ruined my afternoon. I did not do anything, I said calmly. He left on his own. And her, she pointed at Lauren. What are you trying to make me jealous? This is not about you, Stephanie. For once, this is about me. Lauren cleared her throat. I should go. Roy, text me later. I will. She left with a small smile. The door closed quietly behind her. Stephanie was breathing hard. You are sleeping with her, are you not? I actually laughed. It came out bitter and sharp. Is that what you think? No, Stephanie. Unlike you, I have not broken our vows. Not once. Our vows. You agreed to this? No, I agreed to try to save our marriage. You agreed to destroy it. I took a breath. This was it. I am calling a lawyer Monday. I want a divorce. Her face went white. You cannot be serious. I have never been more serious about anything in my life. The next few weeks were a blur of legal paperwork and cold silence. I moved into the spare bedroom. Stephanie oscillated between rage and desperate pleas. "I made a mistake," she said one night, standing in the doorway of the spare room. "We can close the marriage, go back to how things were." "Too late. You told me I was not enough. I believe you now." "Brad will not commit. Do not you care?" I looked at her, this woman I had loved for years, and felt nothing but exhaustion. That is not my problem anymore. My lawyer filed for divorce on the Monday after that disastrous Saturday. I had documented everything carefully. The open marriage, the rules, we set her violations. She had brought Brad to our marital home despite our agreement. My lawyer assured me it would work in my favor. "Open marriage does not protect infidelity or violation of agreed terms," he explained. "Especially since you have proof she initiated this arrangement and broke the rules you both established." During those weeks, Lauren and I continued our coffee dates. Just friends at first. She never pushed, never asked for more than I could give. She just listened, supported me, made me laugh when I thought I would never laugh again. "Take your time," she said one afternoon. "Heal first. I am not going anywhere." That patience meant everything. Stephanie saw us together more than once. She tried to sabotage it in petty ways. "She is just using you," she screamed during one argument. "Even if that were true," I said evenly, "at least she treats me with respect." "You are really choosing her over me." "No, I am choosing myself over you. There is a difference. 3 months after I filed the divorce papers were finalized. The house was mine. I had paid the majority of the mortgage over 7 years, and Stephanie did not fight too hard for it. I think she knew she had no ground to stand on. The day she moved out, I helped her pack. We were civil but distant two strangers who once knew everything about each other. She cried as she taped up the last box. "I ruined everything, did I not?" "We both did. I should have said no from the start." She wiped her eyes. "Would you ever forgive me?" "Someday, but I will never forget." She paused at the door, her hand on the frame. "Is it her Lauren?" "This is not about Lauren. This is about me finding my self-respect again." "For what it is worth," she said quietly. "You were always enough. I was just too stupid to see it." "I hope you find what you're looking for, Stephanie." I watched her car pull away, taillights disappearing down the street. Then I closed the door, stood in the empty, quiet house. I expected to feel sad, broken, lost. Instead, I felt lighter than I had in a year. I was free. The months after the divorce were about rebuilding. I focused on myself for the first time in what felt like forever. I started working out not to impress anyone or compete with Brad, but because it made me feel strong. I reconnected with old friends I had neglected during the marriage. Picked up my guitar again, something I had not touched in 5 years. Went hiking on weekends, just me and the trails and the quiet of the woods. I also started therapy. My therapist helped me see patterns I had ignored. How I had made myself smaller to accommodate Stephanie's demands. How I had confused love with self-sacrifice. "You cannot save someone who does not want to be saved," she told me one session. That truth settled into my bones. 4 months after the divorce was finalized, Lauren and I went on our official first date. I was nervous as hell, fumbling with my keys before picking her up. "I do not want to rush anything," I said as we drove to the restaurant. "We will not," she promised. "We will go at your pace." The relationship developed naturally after that. No games, no drama, no tests or manipulations. Just two people who genuinely enjoyed each other. Lauren celebrated my small victories at work, actually listened when I talked about debugging code or team meetings, made me feel valued in ways I had forgotten were possible. This was what partnership felt like. Not one-sided sacrifice, not constant anxiety about whether I was enough, but mutual respect and support. I heard through mutual friends that Brad dumped Stephanie after 2 months. She tried dating other so-called real men. None of them worked out. She realized too late what she had thrown away. She tried to contact me several times. I never responded. A year later, I stood in my living room looking around. I had redecorated slowly over the months. New couch, new paint on the walls, new artwork that reflected my taste, not ours. Every room had been reclaimed, transformed from painful memories into a space that felt like mine. Lauren was in the kitchen making dinner. We had been together for 8 months now. We were not rushing into marriage. Both of us were learning from our pasts, taking things slow, building something solid. But we were committed and happy. Genuinely, quietly happy. Looking back now, I realize my biggest mistake was not agreeing to the open marriage. It was agreeing to disrespect myself to keep someone who did not value me. Stephanie wanted to explore real men, but she forgot that a real man is not defined by muscles or bravado or confidence that borders on arrogance. A real man knows his worth and refuses to compromise his dignity for someone else's selfishness. The irony is not lost on me. When I stopped begging to be chosen, I became the one worth choosing. Did Lauren choose me that day? She brought lunch over maybe. But more importantly, I chose myself first. And that made all the difference. We are not perfect. We both have scars, wounds that still ache sometimes. But we are healing together, building something based on honesty and respect, not desperation or fear. If you are in a relationship where you constantly feel not enough, ask yourself this: is it really you, or is it them projecting their own emptiness onto you? Sometimes the person who demands an open relationship is not looking for freedom. They are running from themselves. And sometimes the best revenge is not getting even. It is becoming so whole on your own that their opinion of you no longer matters. Stephanie wanted an open marriage to find herself. Instead, I found myself by closing the door on a relationship that was never going to fulfill either of us. The divorce papers arrived months after that Saturday afternoon when everything fell apart. But the truth is, I was already free the moment I decided I was worth more than being someone's backup plan. And you know what? That smoking hot neighbor everyone talks about, she did not save me. I saved myself. She just reminded me I was worth saving. So let me ask you this. Have you ever been in a relationship where you felt like you were not enough? Or maybe you watched someone you care about go through something similar. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one. And if this story resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe. Share this with someone who might need to hear it. Sometimes we all need a reminder that our worth is not determined by someone else's inability to see it. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it helps you remember your own value. Take care of yourselves out there, and remember, you deserve someone who chooses you every single day, not just when it is convenient for them.